What's up, everybody? Welcome to Outspoken, back to Outspoken, episode 82. Shannon, do you want to do the intro? Oh, Shannon's not here today, so it's just me. I'm taking over, and we're not going to be as outspoken as normal. But today, a lot of people ask me the same questions, and I want to tell you some transgender horror stories. So I've been a trans since I was 16 years old, and a lot of people know this, a lot of people don't. I get so many questions about my top surgery specifically, but I wanted to talk today about the scariness of being trans. And I had a top surgery scare, some of you might have. And if you haven't had top surgery yet, don't let it scare you, or do. An experience that I had with a first girlfriend who I didn't come out with, and then another girl that I didn't come out to till after, and then almost getting beat up for being trans. And then at the end, I just want to talk about coming out initially and some tips for it. So the first story is the most interesting. One of these I'm actually writing my short film about that I've been talking about. So maybe I'll tell you which one it is. But okay, where do I start with my top surgery scare? So this happens. What happened to me happens like I don't even know what they said, less than 1% of the time. I had top surgery back in 2015, and there was a lot of misunderstanding when it came to trans things back then. I came out in 2012, transitioned in 2012 when I was 16. You could do the math. A lot of people are always shocked at my age. I am young and in shape. But my knees hurt, so not really. So I went to get my top surgery, and I qualified for, I don't even know what it's called. It was like keyhole or peri-areola. I don't know what it was. It wasn't double incision. So what double incision is when you have, they cut the bottom, like the scars that you can see. So when you get the type of surgery that I had, they will just like, it's like liposuction basically. And they can also resize the shape of your NIPS. Isn't that candy also? Shannon's not here. I think nips are candy too. What a weird name for candy. I feel like I'm doing stand up, but there's no clapping or laughing, which is realistic. That would probably happen to me if I did stand up. So here we go. We're gonna go through the timeline, okay? This should be a movie. This isn't what I'm gonna write about or what I wrote about, but oh man, what a ride. That's what she said. But so essentially what they did is they reshaped the size of my nips. I don't like that word. And then cut an incision on the side of my chest and just lipoed it out. Whatever. Done deal. It's not as easy as it sounds, I don't think. I don't know how surgeons do what they do. So I went to a woman in Massachusetts in 2015. Yes, in 2015. I was 19. And I was terrified. Of course, I was terrified. But whatever, I had to do a bunch of things to get qualified to get the top surgery. And that's a thing. I don't know how it is now, but that's how it was almost 10 years ago. Holy shit, almost 10 years ago. But okay. So I get the surgery done, and after the surgery, it really depends on the surgeon. You will get like tubes put into you to drain, and I think that happens with other surgeries too. And you keep them in for a week, and it's super uncomfortable. It's really gross, and it all depends on the surgeon. Again, I had like a binder type thing or like gauze around me. It's probably something better than gauze. I don't know what it is. It was something to keep everything in place. So like, because it's that, I don't know. That's just how it works. So it was really gross. Honestly, the tubes inside of my chest were like 2 inches thick and like thin. It was disgusting. So everything was sort of okay, but post-op, the surgeon came in. She took a look after the surgery, and my left side looked a bit swollen. And she was questioning it. She was like, she might have to go back in and like take a look and see if everything is okay. And she ultimately decided not to do that. She was like, it might just be swelling, so I guess she didn't want to put me under again. I didn't want to go under again. I hated it. I don't like surgery. I hated it. It was the worst. I don't like it. Um, so she decided to leave it, and I went the week at my house. My mom was helping me out and draining my tubes of disgusting fluids that were coming out. And then you go in a week later and you have the tubes removed, and I cannot tell you how disgusting. This is probably the worst thing that I've ever felt in my life. I did the Donald Trump hands. Oh God. The worst thing that I've ever felt in my life were these tubes being taken out. So my incision on the side of my chest, you can't really see them, and everyone always comments whenever I post like a top surgery photo, where are your scars, blah 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 blah, and stuff like that. Because they haven't seen. I've made a video about this. A lot of people haven't seen it, so I figured I'd talk about it here. So the hole was probably about like, I don't even know, I don't, half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And like I said, the tubes were flat and 2 inches thick. So, God, I can't even think about that feeling. And so I go in, and what the lady has to do is pull the tubes out, and there's a lot of it in there. I don't even know how much, maybe like 7 inches of tube, like wrapped in your chest inside. So she pulls it out, and it didn't hurt. The thing is, it didn't hurt. I don't want to scare anybody. It didn't hurt, okay? It just felt disgusting, and I'm really weird about things like that. And it felt nasty, and I hated it. And then she did the left one too, and it felt fine. Like, it didn't hurt or anything. So then I think she wrapped me up again, and I was good to go. Mind you, this hospital was 2 hours away from where I lived. Keep that in mind for later. So then we make our trip all the way back home, 2 hours. Everything's all good. I think I was with my friend at the time and my mom and whatever. He stayed over my house, and we played video games just so I could rest. And me and him fell asleep on the couch, and I started getting this really, really bad pain on the left side of my chest, like bad. And I was like, oh, it's probably okay. And it was like 10 p.m. by this time, somewhere around there. And it kept hurting. So I went to the bathroom, and I like kind of looked at it, and it looked like there was like something like protruding from the top of my chest almost. And I was like, okay, that's not normal. I don't know what that is, and it really hurts. So I went into my mom's room, and she's like half asleep. I was like, Ma, like, this hurts really, really badly. I don't know what's going on, but it hurts. And she was like, just take the pain medication. Like, it's gonna hurt, it's a surgery. So I did that. Then I went back on the couch with my friend, and we were talking, hanging out, trying not to pay attention to it. Literally probably 10 minutes go by, and I'm like, it still kills, it still hurts. And obviously painkillers are going to take a bit to kick in, so I was trying to like wait it out. But this thing was growing. Like, whatever this thing was, it was growing into like, I don't even know. It looked like I started getting a boob, like a giant like a giant boob. And I don't have anyone here to show for it, but that's fine. I can show you a picture, maybe. That might be too explicit. But it was getting bigger over time and just hurting. So ultimately I went into my mom's room again, and I'm like, yeah, Mom, this really hurts. This isn't working. Look at this. So we took this off, and we could actually see like a ball or something starting to form, which it was actually a hematoma. We had to find that out in the hardest way possible. And if you don't know what a hematoma is, I'm going to Google the definition. It's basically just like it's a collection of blood that pools outside of a blood vessel, usually due to an injury or surgery, and they can occur anywhere in the body, including the brain. Okay, well, that's not where that happened. Or maybe I do have one because I'm stupid. Most hematomas are small and go away on their own, but some might need to be surgically removed. Well, mine was not small. So what ended up happening was this. This is why it became a nightmare. So I know when you're a surgeon, there are specific things for specific practices, whatever. But this deal, if you do surgery on a person, specifically my situation, you should not leave for a week to make sure your patient is okay. And my surgeon decided to go to Canada for a week directly after I had my surgery, directly after the swollen incident thing. So I don't even know when she left, whatever. So then my mom starts panicking. She's like, okay. We didn't know what to do. So she calls the assistant of my surgeon, and the assistant, I don't even remember what she said. She said something like, "Oh yeah, she's like on vacation right now." And my mom was like, "Okay, so what do we do?" And I think she was like, "Just take some painkillers and blah blah blah." Because I don't know what it is about the medical field, and sometimes they just really don't like to take you seriously. I don't know what it is, and you will hear it throughout this entire fucking story, but she basically brushed it off. But my mom won't give up. Like regardlessly. Get it? So my mom made some calls around again. I think we kept harassing the assistant because it was like 1 a.m. at this point, and they're kind of supposed to be there for you in case of an emergency because you just had surgery. Like, I don't know what else to say. And hospitals are 24 hours. So, yep, my left side of my chest just kept getting bigger like a balloon. So the incision on the left side eventually, like, I will try to keep it as least disgusting as possible. It kind of opened a little bit because stuff had to start coming out because there was too much. It was stretching the skin, and it was becoming too much. And my mom was like, "Okay, well, someone has to do something about this because it looks like he has a boob. Like, it looks like he has a boob, and he literally had a flat chest his entire life, basically. So whatever, it doesn't make sense. What is it? What's going on? Because now we have literal blood-soaked towels. So, I don't even know what they said, but they told us to go to the nearest hospital or something like that, which doesn't even make any sense because in the medical field, you cannot touch another person's work. I don't know how like loose that is, but you can't because you could be liable for like if I died or something. That's somebody else's work. And so I just had to sleep. So I ended up sleeping for a couple of hours because we were all stressed out. Me, my mom, and my best friend. And I ended up falling asleep, on a towel, woke up. That thing was covered in the red stuff. I hate that word too. Blood. I don't like anything to do with any of that. I don't know how surgeons are surgeons. But so we ended up, I think it was like 4 a.m. going to the local hospital. We went there, all three of us, and then my best friend's mom came, and she was angry, and she was yelling at like the staff. It was just really funny. So we get in there, we get a room, and the doctor there, asked what happened, and we told him the whole story. And all he did was kind of be like, "Wow, you're like the fourth transgender to come in here today. It's just that, like, you guys come in waves. Like, it's so weird." And I'm having an anxiety attack internally. It wasn't too. And I'm like just bleeding out. And it's like, "Oh wow, oh yeah, you're like the fourth trans person. That's so funny." It's like, yeah, that's so funny. I don't know what the hell's going on, and I'm in so much pain. So what they decided to do, this is the first hospital, by the way, we went to many, was just give me a shot of morphine. I don't know why, and that was the worst. I hated it so much. It made my nose so itchy. I was high as shit. I didn't know what was going on. I sat in a room for like 2 hours like an idiot. My mom has a video of it, and that did nothing. And they were like, "Well, we can't do it because, it's another surgeon's work." So then, okay, we're like, "Okay, we go to another hospital." Now, mind you, we're in Massachusetts, all right? I think they have they've got top hospitals there. Then we went to the top hospital there, I believe, and they did the same thing. They were nicer, but they did the same thing. The two women came in, looked at me. I don't know why they had to look at me. I don't know what the deal was, but they were like, "Yeah, we just can't touch another surgeon's work." And we're like, "Okay, well, what are we supposed to do? She's out of the country. Nobody's covering for her. This kid he can't eat anything because he doesn't know when he's going to have surgery. And I haven't eaten. I'm starving and, and dying, okay? Because I'm not dramatic. But it just kept pouring out. And I was like, it felt like so tight, like it was going to explode. And I was like, this is just what happened to me, So I don't know exactly. It was just so long ago, but my mom ended up getting in contact with the assistant again, I believe, and said, "Hey, we have someone up at our hospital, the 2-hour away hospital, who can take him at like, I don't even know, that at like 10 a.m. or something." It was like the next day type of deal. So we go up there. We're sat in the ER, and this was not a nice ER room. I've been to the ER in California, and that was like luxury. This ER room was like just a bunch of shower curtains, it looked like. It was so bad. This is the best part of the story. So we're sat there, and I'm supposed to go into surgery in about, I don't know, 30 minutes or something with this other surgeon who can cover for her. But then there was an emergency surgery that someone needed to work on, or the person would pass away. So that took like 5 hours. And that's fine. Um, so at this point, I was just with my mom and my aunt at the hospital, and I'm starving. My mom was in the most pain. Sorry, mom, but she she had a really bad period. Um, and she was in excruciating pain. My aunt, I think, was running all over the place trying to find something to eat, trying to find someone to help us, whatever. Anyways, during this like 4 or 5 hour period, there was probably about 4 or 5 nurses who came in and kept coming into my little ER shower curtain ordeal. And at one point, my mom was laying with me on the cot. And I'm still here. I still got this big booby thing bleeding out, and every single nurse that came in asked the same question: "Why did you have a mastectomy if you're a male?" And I looked at them and I was just like, because I needed to. I didn't know. At this point, I was so exhausted. I didn't want to say, and I don't like saying that I'm trans to people that I don't know. I have a really, really hard time doing that. But I can say it all over the internet. And so that's what I kept saying. So another one comes in. Why? What? So I'm confused. It's like, okay, who cares about why I had it? First of all, men can have that. Biological men can have that. They get it all the time. Who cares? Anyways, kept coming in. I don't even know why they were there. I don't think they did much for me. I think, well, they probably took my vitals. But then there was this one last dude who came in who was going to give me, I think, liquids or something through the IV. And when he comes in, my mom goes, "No." She's like, "No." I forgot what she did, but she told him to get out, and he's like, "Okay." So he left, and it was just the worst. It was so bad. So then I don't know what happened. My aunt or my mom, one of them was running around the hospital. I think they both were running around the hospital. Might have been my aunt. And she grabbed someone and she's like, "We cannot sit in this thing anymore. Can we have a room? Can we have a room? This kid hasn't eaten in X amount of hours. He's this and this. People keep coming in trying to give us IVs, trying to do this. We're just waiting to have the surgery. Can we have like a peaceful place? So I get brought up to a peaceful place. Wow, that's a shocker. And so finally, I'm up in this like beautiful room with a comfortable place. There's a comfortable place for my mom to sit, comfortable place for my aunt to sit. And finally, it's my time to have surgery. And I was kind of on my phone listening to music, trying to zone out. And these two surgeons, these two surgeons run in, like they run in to the room. And I was like, um, okay. And they grab me. And my mom and my aunt are like, uh, what the hell? So they literally start like almost running with me down the hallway. And I didn't get the chance to really say like bye to my mom or my aunt. I was like, what if I'm dramatic. Oh, what if I die under anesthesia? I think we were kind of all scared of anesthesia. And they did not like my mom or aunt because of how I think they're not rude, but they're not gonna be stepped all over. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna be like, oh okay, yeah, oh, okay. They're gonna be like, okay, well, can we do something about it? Whatever. And these dudes are running. It's the anesthesiologist and the surgeon down the hall, empty hall. It felt like it was a horror movie. And I was like, all right, oh, bye, mom, I love you. So all I see is my mom and my aunt in the back, like asking what, like where, like where are you going? And I think my aunt was like, what are they gonna do to him? What are they gonna do to him? To my mom. My mom's like, they're gonna do surgery on him. That's okay. It's okay. I think. I don't know. So they try to get away as fast as possible. They get in the elevator with me and they're clicking the button to close it so that my mom and aunt can't do anything. And I was like, what the fuck? I can't even say bye. I'm just like, I didn't care at this point. I'm like, if I die, I die, whatever. If they fix it, they fix it. So I get into the room, operating room, you're on the stupid table, there's a million people in there. And whatever, I get the surgery done and it's all taken care of. And I wake up on like this weird abandoned hospital floor. I don't know where my surgeon was. I don't remember talking to him after the surgery or anything like that. There was two nurses near. I was like near a cubicle. It looked like when I literally tell you there was just like one light above us, and the rest of the floor was black. Like it was like if you're playing one of those weird indie horror games. And I woke up and I was like, oh, okay. And I felt my chest and it felt normal. So, um, and then after that, everything was all set. I don't think I had tubes after that. So that was good. But then, um, the surgeon had called my mom, but didn't leave any voicemail or anything like that. And my mom, she had missed the call because they went out to go try to find food. I think at like I don't even know what time it was. But it was so late. They found Taco Bell. Mind you, this is in Springfield, Massachusetts. If you know Massachusetts, Springfield is not the place to go ever at all. Sorry, Springfield. It's a bit dangerous. So um, they got food and stuff. And then my mom was like, I got a call, but there's no voicemail. You would figure that they would say, hey, Sam's out of blah, 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 blah. And he's fine. So my mom calls him back and he's like, and then he says those words. And, he's like, I talked to him and everything's all good, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember that, but also I was under so much medication and anesthesia. Is that what it was called? Yeah. So then I'm finally let free. I'm let free. So it was a hematoma, is what it was. So what he had to go in and do is drain out all of those fluids and essentially just close off that blood vessel that was causing that. Like, I think they use not fire, but they just close it up, whatever. So that was all good, and I still to this day am angry, but the medical field always wins when it comes to like court cases, but I feel like that was definitely negligence on the surgeon's part. She did a great job though, even though I like, went through hell. I think my chest looks good. Uh, but it was not an experience that I want anyone else to experience. So yeah, if you are having top surgery, keep in mind it doesn't happen as often as anything. But if you do feel like sharp pains and stuff after your surgery, just keep an eye on it. Be very careful. I'll give you tips at the end of the um podcast for like top surgery and stuff. But that was definitely my number one most scary experience ever with I also don't like surgery. I don't like going under. It feels really weird. Uh yeah. So then after that, I got to have McDonald's. I don't know how long it was, but I ate McDonald's. I got like I don't even know what I got. An ice cream, some chicken nuggets, some fries. I think I ordered a million things and I was like, "Wow, I can finally eat and it feels so good." And then I was fine from there. So, yeah. You're welcome. Hope you're scared if you're getting top surgery. I'm just kidding. It doesn't happen that often. If it happened to you though, let me know in the comments. Next, I want to talk about um hmm. I'm going to talk about I don't know if I want to give away too much information. So this Mm. Like I said, I have trouble coming out to people when they don't know that I am trans. So when I started the dating scene, you know, and I was pulling all the chicks, not really. I really wasn't. Um this is actually more recent. I had met a girl online, not more recent. With Shannon, we've been dating for almost a year. It's more recent in my life as an adult. I met a girl online, and you know, we talked, whatever. We were into each other, and we met. But I hadn't told her that I was trans yet because I wanted to tell her in person. I feel like it's a something that you should say in person, which sometimes isn't the best idea given the circumstances, but I trusted her. I didn't think she would do anything bad or be weirded out or anything like that because I've never had that experience with women in general because I normally tell them from the get-go or they follow my page or something like that and I already know, but um this was more I went into this more like not anonymously, but she didn't know everything about my life. So I wanted to meet her and tell her everything. So this is what my short film is about, by the way. I go, I meet her, I drive, we meet in a hotel room, and she my plan, what I had envisioned in my head, and this is something that we probably shouldn't do, or maybe me, is and people have such a different stance on this. It's like you tell them before anything, or you tell them after X amount of months or whatever. For me personally, if I'm dating, if you know that I'm trans already, that's great. If I was on like Tinder or something, I wouldn't be shouting it to the world on Tinder. I would go on dates, see if I like the person enough to trust them, and then tell them. That's just how I feel personally. But I'm dating somebody who has the power of invisibility, apparently, and won't speak today. So, what ended up happening was I met this girl after some months talking to her, and she was coming on to me a bit strong, and which is fine. But my plan was we're gonna chill, we're gonna eat, we're gonna hang out, and I'm gonna talk to her. And if she's not cool with it, like that's totally cool. I will go fuck off and whatever. Because I was so nervous. I didn't want to tell her. I think the thing is, I didn't want to tell her because I didn't want to lose her. And it's weird that that's still ingrained in me because I had the same mindset for previous girlfriends. Because I really liked this girl. And so she starts coming on to me, and I was like, "Hey, no, let's not do that right now." And I'm really awkward, so it probably sounded something like that. And she was like, "Okay, why? Like, why?" I was like, I don't know. Like, we just met. I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to you and drink whatever. So a few minutes go by. She tries again, and I was like, "Oh, okay. No, no, I don't want to do that right now. I don't. We just. I want to get to know you because I'm such a nice guy." Um, and so she was like, "What? Like, what, are you gay? Like, what's your problem? Are you gay? Like, do you have a small dick? I don't understand what's going on." And I was like, Jesus. I was like, fuck. I shouldn't have put myself in this position. And she kind of started freaking out a bit. And I don't want to give too much information because this is what my short film is about. But she essentially like freaks out a bit, and not a bit, but I was like, no. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not fucking. I'm not gay. Okay, what? Like, just no to everything. And she's like, then what's? I don't understand. What's the deal? And I was like, I was like, I really to myself. I was just saying, I should have just told her. I should have told her. I don't know what it is, but it just still after what is it? 12 years, I cannot tell people. I don't know why. So we're kind of going back and forth a bit, and I'm like trying to tell her. She's like pacing the room, and she's like saying, "Do you think I'm unattractive? What's going on? Like, what? I'm so confused." When I get her point, and I'm like, "I know, and I'm sorry, but if you sit down, we could just talk about it." So finally, she does sit down, and I didn't say it. I couldn't say it. She had to play the guessing game, which I feel really bad for her. She's like, are you gay? Like, are you gay? Are you like transgender or something like that?" And I looked at her and I was like, and then my eyes started to tear up. And she was like, "Okay, yeah, like, haha, funny joke. You're transgender. I don't, not, okay. So what is it?" And I was like, and I just stared at her, and I couldn't say anything. I started crying, and she was like, "You're, you're trans." And I was like, "Yeah." And so I told her, she was upset at first, and she's like, "You could have told me sooner. I care about you, and I really like you. I don't know why you waited to tell me this in person," and blah, 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 and whatever. And we both had taken a few shots, so it was not ideal. The situation was not how I pictured it at all in my head. And I was like, "I know, I'm sorry. I should have told you sooner. I just wanted to tell you in person. I felt it was, I trust you, blah, blah, blah." And, you know, eventually she calmed down. She didn't really understand what it meant, which I thought was interesting. She was like, "So you're a girl?" And I was like, "Okay, no." I was like, then I told her the story. You tell this stupid transgender story. She was still a little confused, whatever. Anyways, she went out of the hotel room, and then at like 3 a.m. and sat on the bench and like smoked a cigarette. And it was But she was cool with it after, and she was fine with it after, and she didn't care, and she gave me really really nice talk about it, and she was like still upset with me for not telling her in the beginning, but at the end of the day, we came to the conclusion that it's like it's totally cool, it's totally fine. She's like, I don't give a shit. She's like, I don't care if you're trans and whatever. So it was still terrifying. It was still scary, you know? So be careful with those situations that you might be in or that you could get into, depending on it's especially scary for trans women. I know that. For me, I don't know. I don't know. I just have balls of steel or something, but I don't because I'm just scared to say it. But she was cool with it. I don't want and like I said, I don't want to give too many details, but yeah, I wrote a short film about that, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it. That should be out like I don't even know next year. It's basically done, but I got to film it. So yeah. Then what's my other story? Where do we want to go from here? I mean, this one's kind of funny and lighthearted. The first girlfriend that I had, so I haven't had any surgeries or anything yet. So I would wear a chest binder and and a couple of other things that you wear when you're a trans guy. And so we were just dating, and she did not know I was trans. This is right when I like transitioned, and I didn't even know how to handle any of that. So, and I was planning on telling her, and I couldn't build up the courage to it. Anyways, one day we were chilling at her parents' house, at her dad's house or something, and she was like, she had put her head on my chest. We were laying down, and I was like, okay, um, okay. It was just weird because I was like, how am I supposed to have a relationship, even though, you know, I'm a teenager, where like you hug and whatever. It's like I have to tell this girl. I have to tell her because what I'm dating her. So I don't know. I think it's just it was just internalized transphobia, and some of my family, the bad parts of my family, really bashed it into my head that I'm like tricking these girls into thinking that I'm a boy and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe it was just all internal. So I'd get nervous whenever she would do that. Um, and so she kind of like put her hand on my chest and started like going down to my like thigh and leg, and I was like, okay. And I hadn't, and trans guys will know this. I wasn't wearing a packer at the time. If you don't know what a packer is, it's just something. It's something you put there. So get it, get it. Do you get it? I have this for you explaining that. Anyways, I forgot to put it on that day. And I was like, okay. Not that she's like even really touched me ever. I think that was like one of the first encounters. And I was like, and she was like, what? And I was like, no, just no. Sort of like the same situation I was in. I was like, I don't, we're just, what are you doing? Like, this is weird. And I feel weird. I'm a teenager. And then she kind of tries it again. And I'm like, okay, do you want to do something fun? Like, do you want to like go out or something? And then she makes the joke. She doesn't know I'm trans, and she's like, "What, did you forget to put your dick on today?" And I was like, "What?" In my head, I was like, "What? What the fuck? Like, does she know? Does she know and is waiting for me to tell her or whatever?" And just looking back at it now, it's just funny. But I freaked out. I think I called my mom. I don't know what I did, or I told her the story after, and I was like, yeah, yeah, actually, but like as a joke, I didn't, you know, I played into it, and then it was fine. Nothing happened, and we're cool today. I don't know if she'll watch this, but we're cool today, and we didn't date very long, but you know, she was like my first uh girlfriend not on the internet because I actually finally transitioned, and it just threw me off guard so bad. uh, so I hated that. I hated every second of it. So again, be careful. Be careful. Maybe what we're learning from this is just, well, actually, some people you can't tell you're trans. I don't know, man. But this is the last story I have. It's pretty short, but this is when I was a bit older. So, uh, my dating pool isn't too large. So a lot of you guys don't know many of them, but I think you can count them on one hand or like one and a half, probably one. Anyways, I was with this girl, and lots of the time families don't accept you for being trans, or they'll tell their daughter or son or whoever you're dating, I don't accept that you're gay, or I don't accept that your partner's trans or bi or some shit like that. So, in this case, my girlfriend and I were at night on the streets walking to a restaurant at probably 9 p.m. And her a lot of people who that knew her didn't like the fact that I was trans. So we had run into her cousin, who is from Europe, in the middle of the city where we lived, who really does not like trans people. And he knew I was trans. And just the odds, like the odds of him being there and us being there, and he's from Europe, and what the hell, what's going on? And my girlfriend was like, "Oh my God, I think that's whatever his name was." She's like, "And he's coming over here. That's my cousin. He's coming over here." Whatever. I was like, "It's okay, whatever." I'm not really scared of people. If you want to punch me in the face, just do it. I don't care. So he comes over. He looks me up and down with like the most think of the most disgusted face you could ever give somebody. It's like he thinks he's better than you. He's obviously he's a little bit taller than me. Um, he looks me up and down, and I put out my hand, and I'm like, hi, I'm Sam. And he keeps his hands to himself, like in his pocket. And I'm a bit cornered. I'm a little bit cornered here because we're in the city. And he wouldn't shake my hand, so I left it there for a second, and I was like, okay, you don't have to shake my hand. Like, I will, whatever. Anyways, so then he starts like dogging on my girlfriend. He's like, "Why are you out so late?" She's like, "It's 9 p.m. Also, you're my cousin. Are you my dad? Like, what are you talking about?" And with my boyfriend, we're going out to eat something. And so he just kept dogging on her the whole time and just looked me up and down, sort of cornering me like he was gonna beat me up. And I'm just looking at him like, and this was in my more like buff Sam stage. So I don't care if I'm like shorter than you. I like, if you want to come at me. Dude's like a little bit taller, like Twiggy. I'm like, do you wanna fight? In my head, I didn't say that out loud. Like, if you want to fight me, like, I'll fight you. There's literally like security for the restaurant place that we're trying to go into. Nothing would happen. There were so many people around. Dude was just a weirdo. And they like oddly peeled off in their car. Him and his friends like peeled off in their car and were like being weird and like stalking her and me. And we were like, okay, let's just go somewhere else, maybe back to the hotel for a bit and then do something else. So that was, in the moment, it was really scary. I hated the fact that I was cornered, and she knew what to do. She essentially told him to like fuck off without saying fuck off. She was nicer than that. But I thought that I was gonna get beat up, for being trans. Dude wouldn't even shake my hand. Extremely disrespectful. Like, you're better than me, and I know personal things about his life, which I thought was really funny because you think that you're better than me, but you do this, and this, which is whatever. Anyway, so I'm the big bad trans. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. So that was just another one. And I wanted to end today's episode just a couple of tips for coming out for anybody who needs it. Coming out is really scary. It is very scary, even if you know your family loves you, even if you know your family doesn't hold what's the word for it? Doesn't hold values. If you watch them and they're watching TV and they're watching Fox News and they're like, yeah, gays are stupid or something like that. Or if your family is like, we love the LGBTs, you still don't know the outcome. You never will until you say it, because your family who loves Fox or is super right leaning could be like, that's okay. Like that's okay. And opposite for people who are like, yeah, we love the LGBT except for when it's our son or daughter. So um what I say to people all the time is please take your time when you come out. You don't have to rush it. You don't have to rush any type of label on yourself. You don't have to rush to tell anybody or anything like that. You take all the time that you need. That's what I did with everything. With starting testosterone, getting surgery, doing all this stuff. I know how bad I wanted it. I wanted it since I was a kid, but I still took my time because these are life and body and society. Everything changes your entire life when you transition. Even, same for sexuality, not your body, but still your life. So I can never emphasize it enough. Take your time with discovering yourself. If you're like, that label, like, I'm not really sure, but I do want to tell my parents or whatever, you don't have to do that. You could talk to your friends, or you can talk to a group online or something like that, or whoever you trust, about it first and discover yourself. You don't even need a label. Like, I could just be Sam who likes women, and that's it. I don't have to say much if you're uncomfortable with labels. I feel like I went on a tangent there, but moral of the story, take your time. Don't force a label on yourself. And also, if you do, let's just say you thought that you were lesbian, right? Like totally lesbian or whatever, and a few years down the line you're like, actually, I don't think that I am, like, I'm kind of into dudes or whatever. That's fine. Like, that is fine. You don't have to put yourself in a bubble. Like, you don't. If in 10 years I like dudes, then I like dudes. Like, I don't really care. It doesn't matter. But when you're coming out, if you don't think you're going to be safe, personally, I wouldn't do it unless you have a safe space for your little baby snowflake. No, but unless you have a safe space to do it. Let's say you have a best friend, Bethany, and her parents are amazing, and you kind of go over there with your parents and they help out a bit, if you're younger or something like that. That's always a good idea. It's always a good idea to have a support system, if you can get it, to have your back, to make sure that you're safe. Even if that's doctors or therapists or someone you're talking to, you always want to be safe, and you never know the outcome. Like, when I came out, I had a really strong feeling that my family would accept me, because they love me, and they're not and they're left leaning. They're stupid libs. No, but they're open minded. They're open minded. So it was a bit of a struggle in the beginning, because it's hard to understand, especially back then when I told my mom and my family. But they accepted me, and it was great. Half of the family didn't, and honestly, it sucked in the moment, sort of, but also I didn't really care, because I didn't really like you guys that much anyways, because you all are fake and you suck. So why would I care? And if you can't love me because I'm transgender, then why would I want you in my life? There's a big difference. I actually want to say something. So my own blood, right? My own blood family, half of them didn't accept me. And they were like, "We're not taking down the pictures of her as a baby." And my mom was like, "Okay, I didn't ask that, but all right, whatever." So I lived in the house for the same 25 years. It's a two-story house. Me and my mom lived on the first floor, and an older lady named Rita lived on the second floor, and she was like my grandma. She took care of me. I may have mentioned her before on the podcast, but I mentioned her before on my posts. Now, she was super into her faith. She loved God and all that stuff. She was not conservative or anything like that, but she was born in the 20s, and not in like 1929. And when I came out to her, she had no problem with it whatsoever. And you know why? Because she loved me. And she wasn't even my blood. She grew up, helping my mom out or watching me or babysitting, whatever it was, and we had a bond. She was my grandma to me. And she recently passed away literally in August. August is the worst month in the world. But she never and she was 90. How old was she when she passed away? Anyway, she was like in her 80s when I came out. She never slipped up, at least in front of me, once with anything, with any pronoun, my name, anything like that, whatever. Nothing. She didn't care. She just wanted me to be happy. She even gave me my testosterone shots because she used to be a nurse and she knew what to do, and I was scared to do my testosterone shots. And that goes to show, people will accept you. You can make your own family, essentially. And she loved me for me and did not care whatever I was. Even if I was just gay, she wouldn't have cared. But she didn't slip up one time. And I think that's amazing. So it just depends on the person. And I don't think family has to be blood all the time. But like I said, if it's possible, build a support system. It always depends on your age and stuff. But if you've got friends who have your back, or your friend's family, or something like that, if you're younger or if you're older, I feel like it's a bit easier if you're older and you have your own place and you can come out. But do it when you are ready. Do it when you're ready. Don't feel forced to do it. Yeah. And I would highly suggest going to a therapist. Find a good one, though. It's hard to find a good one. But definitely go to a therapist, too, if you can, alone, without your parents. And if they suck, then don't go to that therapist. Get another one. It's a sucky process. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up now. So I hope any of that was helpful, or hope I didn't scare you too much. I will see you guys next week with Shannon. She will be here instead of Edgar Allan Poe. I put that in place of her today. So yeah, love you guys. I will see you next week. Peace.